All right, so hello to everybody out there in our Sheen world. We are here with a very special exclusive with the Miss Tamala Jones, the legend Miss Tamala Jones. How are you today?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. I'm good. You look amazing, of course. You look beautiful as always.
You.
You're welcome. All right, so now, of course, like we said, you're a legend. We're talking, the wood to can play that game, Castle. And now you have your new show, Rebel, which is set to air on ABC April 8th, which is based on the 2000 movie Erin Brockovich. And in this show, you're playing private investigator Alana
Mhm.
alongside Katie Seagal, right? Who is Rebel. So tell us a little bit about Lana.
Lana she's no joke. She is Spitfire and she does not, in any BS, she's going to destroy it. She suffers no fool. She's half sis. She's Rebel's ex sister-in-law. That's what I was trying to say. She's her ex sister-in-law. Um, she has some things that she's dealing with, but she also helps out Rebel with investigating things. She works in Cruz law firm, and anything that needs to be investigated, Lana's there. You need somebody's butt whooped, Lana's there. She's just, I'm there.
Okay. So how did you prepare for that kind of role?
Um, I didn't prepare at all. I kind of just into the role.
Right.
I had to go through the whole audition process, so that was a little nerve-wracking in itself because I'm a huge fan of Katie Seagal. Um,
Right.
so once you get past the performance, then there's the chemistry test. So that's what I had to get past, and then once I got it, I had to admit to Miss Katie that I was nervous and full of anxiety,
Oh.
and I wanted to do a good job. And she admitted to me that she was nervous and wanted to do a good job. So we just kind of meshed together,
Wow.
and we cruising ever since.
Oh wow. Okay. So you mentioned that chemistry, and you also kind of talked about the relationship that you have with her on screen. And there are a lot of different relationships kind of going on there, right? But it's still so believable. Like chemistry is so good. How do you think the chemistry is so great with all of these different relationships going on? Like what made it so believable?
I have to credit our show creator, Miss Krista Vernoff, for that because she did something so genius outside of writing such great material. During the pandemic, she took that time to interview each and every one of us to find out who we were and what we wanted to do. And when she did that, she kind of sewed and wept in us in the script. So when we got down performing, it was like we all knew each other some sort of weird way. And the
Right.
chemistry happened. It just happened and it just flowed, and it's getting stronger with each episode that we shoot. It is so way out and amazing at the same time.
I can tell it's gonna go. I can tell it's gonna take us somewhere. And I was looking at all the relationships. I was like, okay, so this is kind of like my family. So it's like I love that. I love that. And you mentioned the pandemic. You have such an impressive resume of films and movies. But what was it like doing this during a pandemic?
Um, I, it was a little weird, strange, because you can't really touch anyone. You can't be so close. You have to wear your PPE at all times unless you're in a scene. And we
Right.
got, call them the COVID popo. We got the COVID police on the set that comes with the hand sanitizer. Make sure we spread apart and that there's not that many people in one room at a time.
Right.
So that's weird because we didn't have that before. We just
Right.
hanging out. But other than that, that was the only weird thing. And now it's become a way of life at this point. We know to do that now.
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned, of course, Katie Seagal, which you're a huge fan of, and so am I. Then we have Andy Garcia. We have so many big names, and you're right at home, right there with them. But
Oh,
what was it like working with this cast?
listen, I I was like a bid at the candy store. Like I
Um,
just was like, oh God, get yourself together, Tamala. You cannot be fangirling everybody at work because
right.
I love everyone. Andy Garcia. And when I told my mother that I was working with Andy Garcia, she said, "Oh, my baby daddy."
Oh my
So
goodness.
I had Andy make her a video saying, hey, Mama Jones, this is your baby daddy." It was so cute.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
but everybody's so warm and so kind that it just made it all easy to work with
Yeah,
them. No, it just nothing was hard or a challenge at all.
that's a blessing. That's a
It
blessing.
is.
So with so we have such great chemistry. And of course, this is going back to the movie from 2000 where Julia Roberts played Erin Brockovich. Why do you think now is the right time for Rebel?
Well, Julia Roberts, that was loosely based off of the
Right.
real Brockovich, and she is giving us more of an insight into her life past the movie. And
Mhm.
that's what we're doing. We're exploring what she's done since then. Now it's about heart valves and other injustices, within our show. When I think over there it was about drinking water, in the movie.
Yeah.
So Erin's been doing such great advocacy work since that time that this is what you're going to be seeing now in this show. And with her executive producing along with Krista, we get a real close view into what she's been doing and the impact it's made on people and the change that she's been able to make. So I really hope that people get that being loud does cause change. So when you
Yeah.
speak something, things happen, things shifts. I hope that they
Yeah.
go.
So how has that impacted your personal, I guess, view of situations like this with big pharma and, kind of, us being the little man or we're disregarded because their focus is on the dollar. How has that impacted your outlook on that?
Um, my thing is because I've always fought for people to be educated more on brain aneurysms since I survived one.
Right.
Now, with this show going on, it's taking me out of that and wanting to get more into other things, medicines and different things that let's right the wrongs. You know what I mean? All medicine is not bad, but the ones that are, let's call
Yeah.
a spade a spade. It's not right. That's not working for people. So if I see something or I feel something, you will be hearing me speak up about this. Erin Brockovich, just being on Zoom calls with her, she infuses something through the camera through you to make you want to get up and say something about anything that's not
Oh my
doing
goodness.
things. So
Oh my goodness.
I will continue to speak about brain aneurysms and the causes of them, but if there's anything else that I could talk about that means something to me, I will. I
Right.
will.
Okay. So just kind of jumping back to Lana a little bit. Are you able to tell us just a little bit about what we can expect to see from her, kind of as things?
I'll tell you that she's a hot mess. On top of being a kick-ass investigator and being Rebel's muscle, she has a lot of things that go on with her. She, oh, well, how I can say this? She's had some issues that she's still dealing with, that she will always have to deal with through her entire life. She has a niece that has some issues similar to hers that she encourages to do better and always is worried about. Lana's the peacekeeper, but she's also the kick-asser, if that's a word. So if
Yeah.
there's peace to be made, she's going to make sure that we can do this. But if there's an ass that needs to be kicked, so be it. Um, her struggles, her personal struggles, that's very human for Krista to write, because everyone struggles with demons in their life. And has to balance it with the responsibility that we have. But the thing I like about Lana, she's not selfish. It's not just about her. It's about everyone around her that make up her.
Right.
So there's different layers to Lana.
Right.
And then there's some times in her life, because of what she was doing, that come back to haunt her in a way that she has to now deal with too. Okay, I didn't even remember that this happened, but okay.
Right.
So she gets some little surprises too, without giving too much away.
Right.
That she has to face.
Okay. Do you see a lot of yourself in Lana, or a lot of Lana in you at all?
No, now as far as the having issues that I have to face, like anyone else, I have some, you know.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah, and so that part is similar, and having to face my daily responsibilities, and that it's not just about me. It never has been. It's always been about my family, and me. My mother she had me when she was 15, and I'm the oldest and the only girl, and I have two younger brothers. So it's always been about my brothers and my mother and how they're doing, do about them, but also having to deal with me too.
Right.
And that's a very strong similarity between Lana and myself.
Okay. Okay.
Family.
Oh, absolutely. So do you find yourself kind of slipping back into the role of Lana when you're in Offset?
No,
No?
no, because at home and around my friends, I'm very zen. And then
Okay.
I'm a big kid too. Like Lana's not a kid at all. Me, I like to play. For summertime, I got all these spectacular water guns, like bubbles and things. I feel like as an adult, we forget to play. We grow up,
Yeah.
we don't play anymore. And that is the thing that keeps us young, and healthy, that laughter, that fun. So I like to play. I have karaoke machine. I don't care if I sound terrible. It's fun. So that's the big difference. I'm really silly and goofy. Lana's not.
Okay. That makes life fun. That makes life fun. Yeah, Lana is a spitfire.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you like to kind of keep it fun. So with the quarantine that's been happening, have you been binge watching anything?
I binge watched a lot of stuff.
Really?
Hold on 1 second. I have to. Oh, did you see? Okay, you just saw my dress because I had it up. Hold on 1 second. Let me move this over here. My battery's getting low. Please spare her a few more minutes because I had to get up. Okay, I had to plug that in.
Okay.
What was the question again?
I was asking if you said you're binge watching a lot of things during the.
Yes, I binge watched the Umbrella Academy.
Ooh.
I binge watched The Runaways, Marvel's The Runaways, and that's where I saw my niece Ariella the first time. And when I saw her in the audition, I was like, because they're green in the show,
Right.
and then in real life, I was like, "Are you?" She was like, "I said, you about to get this right." I binge watched. I watched this Asian zombie thing called The Kingdom, and it was good. It was so good. I've seen so many things and so many great movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely binged out.
Okay. Do you ever go back and watch any of your own stuff?
No,
You don't.
I can stand me. I don't like watching me. I don't.
Really?
I myself apart I'm like, "Ooh, girl, ooh, you could have did that better," or "You look real fat right there. What were you eating?" Or like, I'm the worst critic. I hate myself.
Well, I'm just going to admit that when I knew that I was doing this interview, I was having a bit of a fangirl moment.
That's so
I
sweet.
was like, oh my goodness. So yes. But yeah, I know you guys have a ton of interviews to get to today, so I'm not gonna keep you much longer. It was definitely a pleasure meeting you and getting to talk to you. Thank you so much for chatting with us today.
Always. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. And so we're going to be looking forward to Rebel, which will be airing on April 8th on ABC. Check your local listings. All right. Thank you again, Ms. Tamala Jones, and you guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, thank you.